call and when not to call to a gobbler. You stay tuned because that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. We'll be right back. Okay, we've all done this. Everybody's guilty of it that's ever turkey hunted any amount of time. You've called when you're not supposed to call. And that's just something you got to learn. It's trial and error. That's what years of turkey hunting experience will teach you. And that's just something that you've got to go through. The pains of calling when you shouldn't have called. But I'm going to try to help you. Now, you're still going to make mistakes. I mean, because you're out there one-on-one with a wild animal. You're out there with nobody around you but you and God, the turkey, and and you're just going to make mistakes. And that's just going to happen. But that's all right. Don't beat yourself up. But it does help when you have someone, like me or a ton of other people that's teaching turkey hunting, that's been doing it a long time, that can help you maybe not make as many mistakes as we made over the years. Now, when we talk about calling and not calling, you don't ever want to get mentally crippled in your head to where you just go out there and you never call. And there are people that almost is scared to death to even touch their box call or touch their slate call or mouth call. They're almost like almost paranoid to call because they're afraid they're going to mess up. And you can't do that, because if you start doing that, then you're never going to call, or you're going to call too lightly, and you're not going to get turkeys fired up, and you're not going to get turkeys to really respond to you as much as somebody that calls a lot. Now, we can overcall. We know that. We've talked about that over the years. You can overcall. You can, push a gobbler off by calling. All that's true. But you also don't want to get so paranoid again or crippled in your thinking that you just don't want to call, period. But there are times when you can call that's going to work better than times when you should just shut up. Now, we all know when a turkey's coming in and he's getting really close, we hear him spitting and drumming, probably the best thing you can do, don't say nothing. Let him come looking for you. That's probably the best thing. That's the old-time way of hunting it. That's still the best way. Just don't say anything. Now, we know that. However, there are times when that turkey can be out there 70, 80, 100 yards, and you're calling when you shouldn't have been calling. And so that's where you kind of need to hone these skills in a little bit. Now, one of the scenarios that I could say that you don't want to call was a hunt I had last year. Many of you watched. It was my largest gobbler I ever killed in my life. Was there in Tennessee last year. 27-pound gobbler. 1.5-inch spurs. He was a whopper. 2 11-inch beards, 22 inches of beard. I mean, you can see him there in the clip. I mean, he's a big turkey. Now, this turkey is a classic example of when you don't want to call. In fact, the guy that I was hunting with that was running the camera, good turkey hunter, has killed turkeys. But he told me after the fact, because he couldn't understand why I wasn't calling to this gobbler, he said, if I'd have been by myself or just been here, he said, I would have probably just called to him and blowed the whole thing. And most people would have, because you see this gobbler out there, you're thinking, man, he's coming in, he's way out there. I see him, and it was an open situation. He's out there 200 yards. That's when I first seen him. He was at least 200 yards way across top of that mountain in that field. And he was way out there, and he never gobbled. He never said a word. He just popped out of nowhere, and I thought it was a cow. I'm telling you the truth. I thought it was a cow when I first seen him. And I looked through the scope, and I said, well, that must be a cow out there. And it just kept moving. And I looked as he got closer, and it was a turkey, and it was a big one. So he's out there, 170, 80 yards now. And I'm showing a little bit of it in the video here, but you can see he's not strutting, he's not gobbling, he's not doing anything. He's just walking toward us, as you can see in the clip there. He's just walking toward us, but right here, he's at least 150 yards from me. But he knows he's up high in that field. He can see that entire field. He knows he should be seeing that turkey if I'm calling. So, think about this. A lot of people, when they saw that gobbler, automatically they would think, oh man, I want to call to him so he'll know I'm close and I'm going to call. So they get, they'll call. What do you think that gobbler's going to do? The first thing he's going to do is throw that head up. And what's he looking for? He's looking for you, right? He's looking for you. The moment you start calling to this turkey thinking in your mind, oh, I want him to know I'm here so he'll come on in. A big mature gobbler like that, now maybe a 2-year-old, maybe a Jake might not do it, but a big old gobbler like that a lot of you around and hunt, what's going to happen? I guarantee you 9 out of 10 times he will throw the brakes on and he will start strutting right there and he'll stop. And he's 150 yards. What am I going to do? I got a shotgun. 50 yards is about the max. I mean, I've got a shotgun. What am I going to do? I can't do nothing. So he's going to throw the brakes on and he's going to start strutting. And why is he strutting? He's up high, or he's out in the field. He knows he should be able to see that hen. That hen should be able to see him out there strutting. He's starting to dance around. He's starting to strut. He's doing all this stuff, and he's going to throw the brakes on and stop, and he's going to wait for that hen to come to him. This is where you can get hung up turkeys, and it was your fault is why they got hung up. Sometimes we blame the fence or creek or other things, when really sometimes it was us. We hung them up. So don't call when you can see the turkey and he's looking for you, because that's the worst thing you can do. Unless, now here's the unless part, unless he's walking away. Now if this turkey would have been walking away, if he'd have turned around and just started going the opposite way, yeah, then I would have called to him to let him know, hey, you're going the wrong way, I'm over here. I would have done something, because think about it, you're not going to mess nothing up because he's leaving anyway. So I'm going to do something. I don't understand these guys that, whether deer hunting or turkey hunting, especially turkey hunting, the gobbler's leaving and they just sit there and go, well, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I going to do? What am I doing? I'm afraid to do anything. He's leaving anyway. It's not going to matter. So I'm going to call to him, and if he walks on out of my life, I'll hunt him another day. But I'm going to call to him. But if he's coming slowly to me, or he's just taking his time and he's feeding around and he's not going the opposite way, don't say nothing. Now, what you can't see in the video is there was a dip in the hill. It comes down like this. There was a dip in the hill in the field there, and he has, and to get to me, he has to go down that dip and get in the bottom and then come up the side where I was at. So in my mind, I'm sitting watching this turkey. He's about 100 yards now. He's probably about 100 yards out there. He's coming slowly. He's just feeding along, coming. He's looking up. He's looking for me. And I told the camera guy, I said, because he kept saying, you gonna call to him? You gonna call to him? I said, no, I ain't gonna call to him. No, I ain't calling to him. But then I told him, I said, when he gets in this dip, I'm gonna start purring and talking to him. I'll start soft calling. Now, why did I do that? He can't see me. He's in the dip. He knows that hen can't see him displaying and strutting, because the reason they strut is to get the hen to come to them, right? So he's down below me in the dip. Nobody can see him. No hen can see him. So I'm going to talk to him when he's down in the dip, just to let him know, hey, I'm still up here. Just little purrs, clucks, 2 or 3 yelps, just little soft little yelps. Things like that, just to let him know I'm there. And once he got into the dip and I lost him visually, then I started calling to him. And that's when he just came right up that hill, comes full strut, and he walked right into our lap almost. And I shot him about 25 yards out there, and boy, he was a whopper. Okay, so if I would have called to him again, he would have hung up, and I'd probably never killed him, because we couldn't have moved, we couldn't have got to him, we couldn't have moved around. He would have just strutted until he would have just gave up and walked off. All right, that's a scenario where you don't want to call. Okay, let's talk about when you do want to call. All right, let's say a turkey is hung up on the other side of a fence. Okay, because you know, if you hunt farm country, you're going to hunt around a fence, or maybe you're on public land where you're hunting the outside perimeters of that, of that public, and you're close to private, and they're over on private. Okay, how do you get him off private onto public, or off your neighbor's property where you can't hunt to the property that you can hunt? Don't give up just because they're on the other side of the fence. You know, I've actually been with guys hunting over the years. If a turkey's across the fence, they'll just say, ah, he's over there on the day. He ain't gonna come across that fence. He ain't gonna, and they'll want to go home. And I'm like, oh man, let's go hunt him. You know, well, we can't hunt over. Well, I don't care. Let's call him over here. Now, it's true that a fence or a creek or any kind of obstacle can hang a turkey up, and sometimes they just ain't coming through it. However, every fence that I've ever been around, hunted for 30 years, has low places in it, sometimes has gaps in it, has a lot of places a turkey can get under a fence or crawl under, get through. I've watched gobblers come right through a fence where it's just a little old hole, and they've come right through it to me. So if they're across a creek, or they're across you know, something you can't cross water-wise, or they're across a fence, that's where you want to call. You get in there and you throw the kitchen sink at them. You throw everything you got at them. You say, well, then you might be overcalling a little bit. You ain't gonna kill them no way. Why? Because you can't hunt over there. So you're gonna have to throw everything. You want to be the most excited, the most loud, the most mouthy, the most aggravating hen out there to get him so fired up that he'll come through barriers to get to you. So when I have that situation, man, if he's out there 75, 80 yards, 100 yards, whatever, and I know that he's on private and I'm on public, or he's on the neighbors and I'm over here on another piece of private and I can't get, man, I'll fire him up. And I mean, that's when I'm cutting, and that's when if you was up behind me on a hill somewhere, you'd say, what in the world is he doing? But here's what I'm doing. Cutting. I will do that till I'm about out of breath. Now, I'm not saying constantly, but I'm talking about just every few minutes, man. He gobbles back, I'm gonna cut him off. And let him gobble, and I'll cut him off. And I'll just, and I'll let him gobble 2 or 3 times, then I'll call to him. Let him gobble 2 or 3 times, then I'll call to him. Count them. I'll let him gobble 2 or 3 times, then I'll call back to him. And I'll just have a conversation with him. Instead of me having a conversation with him, I'll let him have a conversation with me. Reverse psychology, kind of, if you want to think of that. That's where you want to get loud and boisterous and throw the kitchen sink at them. You might not kill them, but many, many times, if you'll just, quote, overcall, what most people would call overcalling, you will get turkeys to come through a fence, across a creek. I have seen them fly across a creek, the one that you can't wade. I've seen them fly from one side to the other and hit the bank, come right to me, and me kill them. It's happened more than once over the 30 years I've done this. So there are times when good calling is important, soft. You know, we've talked about that. We'll talk about that again this year, soft calling, all that stuff. But there's times when you don't want to call, and there's times when you want to throw the sink at them. So just remember that, and a lot of times that will help you kind of decide what you're going to do. Now, them 2 scenarios is something you're going to run into sometime during your turkey season, and just remember that. It may help you bag that old gobbler. Hey, make sure to subscribe to this video. Just hit that subscribe button down the corner. I'd really appreciate it. Also, check out all the links below, and check out AdeleOutdoors.com. Check out my store where you can get Adele Outdoor merchandise. Check out SOSO Outdoors, and all the links below my social media, Facebook, Instagram. Come and join me over there. The links are below. Just come over and follow me on both of them. Also, check out SpringBeaverCustomCalls.com, where you can pick up the brand new Old Sly Slate Call, slate over glass, the Old Sly, my signature series slate call. Go and pick one up. They really, really sound great. I mean, it's selling like hotcakes, and they're really selling good. So go over there and pick you one up. Also, the Old Sly box call, check them out also, and my mouth calls, just all the great calls there at SpringFeverCustomCalls.com. Check all of them out. Also, join me on Patreon if you want to help Dell Outdoors a little bit, and give us a tip, $2, $3 a month, $4 a month, just to help us with what we're trying to do here. we'd really appreciate it. Kind of helps with all the videos that get demonetized because of the hunting content. You know, it's a crazy world we're living in. So we need your help. So go over there at Patreon. Just give us $2, $3, $1, $2. I don't care. Just give us something, and I'd really appreciate it. We should appreciate any support you can give us. So join me on Patreon. Also, all the links are there in the description. And make sure to share this video on your social media page. Tell your friends and neighbors about Dale Outdoors. Tell them to subscribe also, and you make sure to subscribe because we're going to have a lot of turkey hunting content in the weeks to come, and you don't want to miss none of it. We're going to be teaching you how to kill turkeys, and then here in just a few weeks for some of us, and maybe a month or two for some of us, we're going to be out there chasing these longbeards, and I hope you kill a big old longbeard this year. Maybe it's your first or maybe it's your 100th one. Don't know, but all of them are special. So we'll see you in the next video.